Okay. Good morning, friends. Up till now, we have covered the first chapter, wherein we have discussed about the meaning of contract and classification of contracts. And today we are going to start the first essential of the contract act, that is offer and acceptance. And when we discuss the last chapter, we have discussed that if we talk about the any particular essential or particular point, so at that point, we consider that all the other, requirements or all the other essentials are very well present in the particular contract. So we have started with the Indian Contract Act, and in Indian Contract Act, we talk about that the particular promise when it is being made between the two parties, then in that case, if it satisfies all the conditions to become a contract, then the rules of Contract Act will apply. So in this, we have already covered the first chapter, that is about the introduction, within which we have discussed the meaning of contract, we have discussed the essentials of contract, and we have discussed what are the different types of contracts exist as per the validity, as per the performance, as per the mode of formation, etc. Now, the second section which we are going to start today is offer and acceptance. Now, my dear friends, when we talk about the offer and acceptance, then in this particular case, we have already discussed that when we talk about a contract, contract is an agreement enforceable by law, right? And when we talk about the agreement, we have discussed that it has its source from a promise and set of promises forming consideration for each other. And this promise has come originated from offer and acceptance. So, in this particular situation, we have also discussed that the contract is not the contract of whole law of obligation. We have discussed that there are exceptions in terms of quasi contract where the offer and acceptance is not there, which we are going to discuss at later stage. But now, when we talk about offer and acceptance, so two things we have to understand, that what do we understand by offer? It means what is the valid offer within the meaning of Indian Contract Act, and what is the valid acceptance within the meaning of Indian Contract Act. So when we focus on these two essentials, that is offer and acceptance, so we consider that all the prerequisites and all the other requirements or essentials under section 10, which are required for the formation of a valid contract, are present. So we are going to focus that whether contract is going to be there or not on the basis of that if the offer is valid offer or not. So if there is going to be the valid offer, it will lead to a contract, and if there is no valid offer, it will not lead to contract. And similarly with respect to the valid acceptance, तो अगर valid acceptance होगी तो वो contract बनेगा, और valid acceptance नहीं होगी तो वो contract नहीं बनेगा. इसी के continuation में we have to understand that when we say offer and acceptance, so offer once accepted becomes a promise, and once there is a promise, keeping in mind that all the other essentials are present here, becomes a contract. Now, in this case, once the offer is accepted, so it will give rise to the legal obligation. Again, I'm saying that we are considering that all the other essentials under section 10 with respect to the lawful consideration, free consent, capacity of parties, lawful object, etc., all are present in the particular promise. So this offer, when is it's accepted, it becomes a promise and gives rise to a contract, and this particular contract itself means that it is enforceable by law. So I hope the base is clear to all of you, that how we are going to move and discuss about offer and acceptance. Now, if we discuss, so we have to understand the meaning of offer within the meaning of Indian Contract Act. So if we say meaning of offer, So meaning of offer means that we have to see according to section 2A. It says when what where it is when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtain assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to have make a proposal. So it means the very first thing is that offer is to be, one second. So once it is there, so it is that we have to see that whenever the offer is being made, offer is to be made to another person. So when we say that what are the essentials of a valid offer, so in this particular case, this is going to be the requirement. So offer, first thing, that when one person signifies to another, so it means that very first essential is that offer is to be made to another. Secondly, that there should be willingness to do that particular thing. Let me, okay. Okay. So now in this particular case, when we say second essential, it says that there is willingness to do or not to do something. To do or not to do something. So we have already discussed that when we talk about Indian Contract Act, it talks about that there should be a contract and that should be performed. उसकी टर्म्स कंडीशन क्या होंगी, सब्जेक्ट मैटर क्या होगा, उसके परफॉर्मेंस की क्या रिक्वायरमेंट होगी, कंसिडरेशन क्या होगी, all these things are to be decided by the party. So when we are talking about to do or not to do something, it means कि वो सब्जेक्ट मैटर जो पार्टीज आपस में प्रॉमिस कर रही हैं, वो सब्जेक्ट मैटर परफॉर्म कुछ करने का या कुछ ना करने का, इट मीन्स दैट इवन यू आर abstaining from doing something, that is also a valid subject matter. So this is willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtain assent of that other. So it means कि हमारी जो intention है to obtain yes from the other party है, obtain assent from द अदर पार्टी. तो ये चार एसेंशियल्स तो आपके इसमें डेफिनेशन से ही आ गए. तो पहली चीज अगर आप याद करो तो हमने डिस्कस किया था कि अग्रीमेंट के अंदर कंडीशन होती है दैट द अग्रीमेंट इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी यू नो बी रिक्वायर्ड टू और more persons in an agreement to become the contract. So this again essential is there, that offer is to be made to another person. The offer made to ourselves is not an offer or is not going to give rise to a valid offer. Secondly, जब भी हम किसी चीज के लिए ऑफर कर रहे हैं, so we are willing to do. We are not just saying it for the saying sake or making a statement. We are actually willing to perform the particular task. Thirdly, it must include some subject matter that can be to do something or not to do something. And fourthly, that whenever we are making such an offer, we have made it with an intention to obtain yes from the other. We are not in a position, or we don't want that, okay, I am making an offer, but the other person should not, make the accept the offer. So that will not give rise to a valid offer. So in this case, we have to see that what are the, out of from this definition, what are the essentials of the particular offer. So the very first essential is that is the expression of willingness is there. So it means that we are willing to do something and we are expressing that willingness. It's not that we are not we are keeping in mind, okay, yes, I want to do this thing or I want to sell my car. So expression is very important, and you are also willing to do that thing. So secondly is the subject matter. So when we are expressing our willingness, this should be related to something. So that subject matter can be to do something or not to do something or to abstain something thing. Second, another essential is that it should be made to another party. So you should not make the offer to yourself. And fourth is that we are interested to obtain assent or yes from the other party. So our intention is that whenever we are making the offer, so with the intention that the other party is going to accept and there is going to be a contract between this. So in this case, we say that there is the first very essential becomes the expression of willingness, secondly subject matter, thirdly it is made with an intention to obtain yes from another, or you can use the word assent as it is given in the definition, and it must be made to another person. Now what can be the other essential or consequence if you remember on the basis of this particular case law? Anyone would like to share or would like to make comment on this case law which we have discussed in the last class? Yes. Yes, the case law, shall I repeat it again? Yes, Vita,
कर दो मैम।
repeat कर दें. Okay, it is clear. Okay. When we talk about the intention to give rise to legal relationship, so we have discussed that whenever we are talking about the agreement or we are talking about the party making a promise, so in that particular case we have discussed that agreement should be capable of giving rise to legal obligation. So we have discussed in earlier class that agreement can give rise to social obligation and agreement can give rise to legal obligation. So in case of social obligation, where we are, required to fulfill the non-economic needs or the emotional needs, so this particular social obligation situation does not give rise to a contract, because for an agreement to become a contract, it must give rise to legal obligation. And if we see, agreement has its source from the promise, and promise has its source from the offer and acceptance. So it means that when the offer is being made, whenever the intention to do or not to do something is being made, it has been made with an intention to give rise to legal obligation. Then only it will be able to convert into the contract. तो यहाँ पर हम we are talking about कि whether that particular offer will be considered as valid offer or not. तो उस केस में essential requirement hai that the offer must be made with an intention to give rise to legal relationship. And when we discuss the case of Balfour versus Balfour, we have already discussed that whenever we are going to cover the case study, so this case should have the three essentials in it. First is the storyline, where we talk about that it talks about the facts of the case, right? And secondly, we have talked about that we should
Provision of
mention
law.
about the provisions of law to which it is related. And the thirdly
Judgment.
is the judgment or the decision given in a particular case situation. So when we talk about Balfour versus Balfour case study, so we have discussed here that Mr. and Mrs. Balfour were out to Ceylon for the vacation, and both were enjoying the vacation. and but somehow Mrs. Belfer was not keeping well, and Mr. Belfer got the call from the office to join back his duties. In that particular circumstances, Mrs. Belfer has been advised not to travel or to do any kind of exertion, and Mr. Belfer had to come back. So he promised Mrs. Belfer to give 30 pounds for a particular period, and to meet out the expenses for staying there. After that, there were certain kind of misunderstandings between the two, and Mr. Belfer stopped sending the money. Mrs. Belfer filed a case in the court of law for claim of that particular money. So this was the storyline and fact of the case. Then the provision of law is related to that what was the intention of the parties at the time of formation of the promise, because it has not turned into the contract. So for formation of promise, when it has been made not to have any kind of legal relationship. So there were no intention to be bound by the particular promise in terms of legal relationship, and the judgment of the court said the same, that as the intention of the parties was not to have the legal relationship, so in that particular situation Mrs. Belfer could not recover that amount or cannot bound Mr. Belfer to pay such sum of money. So whenever the offer is being made, this offer should give rise, there should be intention that whenever the offer is being given, it must give rise to legal relationship, or there must be intention to be bound by that particular promise, or there must be existence of the legal obligation as a result of the particular offer. So please confirm in the chat box that you have understood this point. Yes, please. This point is clear to all of you. Yeah, there are 34
Yes,
students,
ma'am.
so at least 34 years should be there. And if it is not clear, then you can again ask your doubt. Okay, now let's move further. Now, if you see in this particular case, the meaning of offer is clear to all of you, right? Now, if we move further, so we have discussed that there is the essentials which we have covered already, and there are two parties. The person who makes the offer is known as offerer, and the person to whom the offer is being made is known as offeree. So जब तक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होता तब तक हम इनको प्रोमिसर और प्रोमिसी नहीं कह सकते. Once the offer is being accepted, then we can call it as promiser or promisee. So till the time the it is acceptance stage has not come, so at very first stage the person would be known as offerer, and the person, other party to whom the offer is being made, would be known as the offeree. Now, when we have covered, so this already we have covered willingness to obtain doing something. I don't know, some issue is coming today. Okay, so then it must be made to another person, it must be made with a view to obtain assent of that other, and expression of willingness must be there with the point of view to create a legal obligation. Then there are, we can cover the kinds of offer. When we talk about the kinds of offer, in kinds of offer, one is the express offer, second one is the implied offer. So when we say express offer, so we have already discussed the meaning of express contract. When the words have been used to express a particular situation, it is known as express offer. So whether it is spoken or written, whether it is a verbal oral contract or written contract, both the contracts are valid. So similarly, offer is being made. So this can be made by the use of the words, whether spoken or written. Next type of offer is known as the implied offer. So when the course of conduct of the parties, or we say the behavior or the circumstances are such that it is being shown that an offer is being made, then it is considered as the valid offer. So implied offer can be, for example, the metro is on a particular line, the particular route, public bus on a particular transport. You are booking a cab by using a particular application, or there are you are withdrawing the money. So there are so many situations where the words have not been used, but the action, the behavior, or the circumstances between the parties are such which indicates that an offer is being made. So when you are waiting on a particular station and metro comes and stop, so there is an implied offer that if you wish to board metro on a particular route, you can take that. And if you do not enter the metro, so it means you are not willing. Or if you board the metro, so it means you are willing to go to a particular route. So there is implied offer and implied acceptance as well. So implied means that which is understood from the behavior of the parties. Then there comes the offer as the specific offer and the general offer. When the offer is being made to a specific person, it is known as specific person. So if A has made an offer to B, or if B has made an offer to C, or X has made an offer to Z. So once this offer is being made to the specific person, it is known as the specific offer only. And as a result, only specific person can accept that offer. No one else on his behalf can accept the offer. So the specific offer is one when it is being made to a specific person or a particular person only. And when we talk about the journal offer, so journal offer is one which is made to public in journal. So in this case, as a result, there can be as many contracts as the journal offer is being accepted, and also it depends upon the number or maximum number defined in the particular offer. For example, there is a journal offer that a persons or the students, those who have got 95% and above the particular cutoff, then they are eligible to accept the offer and they are eligible to take the admission. Similarly, it would depend upon the rules and the circumstances. For example, in a particular cutoff, if 70 students have come up, so the authorities are bound to give admission to all the 70 students. But if there are certain conditions that this 95% cutoff is there, but only 10 seats are there, and only the top 10 students would be selected in the particular cutoff. So in that case, it will be applicable. But the journal offer means that it is being made to public in journal, and it can be accepted by anyone who fulfills the conditions of acceptance. तो जो भी आपकी कंडीशंस होंगी उस पर्टिकुलर कट ऑफ के लिए और उसको एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए, so these particular number of contract would depend upon that who are eligible and what are the conditions. But there is no specific condition that this offer is being made to A, B, C and D only, and only A, B, C and D can accept. So in that case it is not there. So journal offer is being made to public in journal, and it can be accepted by the number of persons depending upon that what are the conditions or how many kind of contracts are there or what are the terms of the particular journal offer. So in that particular situation, the one situation or the other situation would be different. In this case, you can take an example of, for example, the offer is being made, the goods are being sold, and there is an offer of a particular discount that till the till a particular time the goods are sold at a particular discount, or there is a condition that till the stock lasts. So there can be certain situation the offer is being made, so it would differ in one situation to another. So there comes a case study of journal offer, so that we are going to discuss at later stage. Then there comes The rules regarding valid offer. So this we have already discussed, that it must be offer must be capable of giving rise to legal consequences, or be capable of giving legal relationship, and ultimately that it must result in legal obligation. So if there is an intention which does not give rise to legal obligation, that offer is not regarded as valid offer. And if it is not valid offer, it will not give rise to a contract. There, that will remain a promise only. So it will not give rise to a contract. For example, mother is taking care of the family members, and there is implied offer that there is, if any requirement is there, then she is always by their side. So in this situation, if there is, even the implied promise is the valid promise, so in one fine circumstances, on one fine day, she is not able to fulfill her promise, then in that case it does not mean that the other parties have right to go to court of law and can compel for the performance of that promise. So that the requirement is that the offer it does not give rise to legal consequences. It is to fulfill the emotional needs or the social requirements and commitments as such. So that offer is not going to give rise to a contract. Similarly, we have already discussed the case law of Balfour versus Welfare. So, generally, in the books, you will find the whole story in one para, but from the very beginning, I expect from you that you divide it into three paras so that you get the habit. And even if in the exam the question comes for 5 marks, in every question one case study is going to be there. So you, from the very beginning, you start writing with these three heads in your paragraph and any case study. So it is to be followed. Then next essential is that an offer must be clear, definite, certain, or capable of being made certain. So when we talk about the clear, so it means that we say that the subject matter is to be decided by the parties. बट आप किस सब्जेक्ट मैटर के बारे में प्रॉमिस कर रहे हैं, किस सब्जेक्ट मैटर के बारे में आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हैं, इट शुड बी क्लियर. अगर वो क्लियर नहीं होगा, so it will not give rise to a valid offer. So for example, I say that I will give you 2 lakh rupees if you decorate my room as I have dreamt of. So it's not clear what was in my dream, or how I want my room to be decorated. So in that case, it will not give rise to give rise to valid offer. Hence, it will not give rise to a contract. But yes, if I give this specification that I want out of the given sample, I want flooring of a particular type, I want woodwork of a particular style, I want the walls of a particular style, I want the another certain design to be incorporated in the room, then it is clear or capable of being made clear, right? So in that case, it will give rise to a valid contract, and the person who is doing the work, if he performs well, he has the right to get the money which has been agreed upon. But if I just simply say that I want it beautifully decorated, now what is beautiful in my eyes might not be beautiful in the other person's eyes. What are my expectation may not match with the expectation of the other person. So in this particular situation, whenever the offer is being made, it should be clear. Definite means that about which particular thing we are talking about, which items will be included in the particular tasks, what is going to be the subject matter, what is, how it is going to be performed, where it is to be performed, by whom it is to be performed, by whom it is going to be performed, what is going to be the consideration of the promise. So there should be clarity about all the aspects when the offer or a particular task is being promised to be performed. So it should be clear, definite, and certain or capable of being made certain. So if this is, we have not, entered into these details, but I have seen one whole room already performed or already redone by the same person. So I have selected that out of these designs I select this particular design for my room. So even though I have not given into the specification, but it is capable of being made certain that which particular things I am talking about. So I have seen the sample, I have seen the particular thing done, and out of the given choices I have selected one. So it is capable of being made certain. So if it is going to give rise to any indefinite offer or vague offer, so it cannot be accepted and it will not give rise to a contract. So for example, it is given that sale or purchase of oil. Say A says to B that I want 5 liters of oil. He has not specified that whether you need the kerosene oil or you need the cooking oil, or what is the purpose, which type of oil is required. So it means it is vague. But if we have been to a particular place or particular shopkeeper who is dealing in one type of oil, so it means that it is capable of being made certain that if A is dealing in one particular type of oil, so I want 5 liters quantity of that particular oil only. So it is capable of being made certain. So this will give rise to a valid offer. Yes, we can pause here. Any clarification needed up till now? Yes. Yes, Vacha. Any doubts?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we come to the third point. An offer must be distinguished from mere declaration of intention. Now, this particular, we can say the point is very important, and sometimes the question or separate, we can say this particular statement can be asked for the clarity by the examiner. Now, here it says that this is, I think, fourth or whatever is the sequence you can see. This is that an offer must be distinguished from invitation to offer. This is the last point I am going to take up for today. Now, my friends, we have understood up till now that if there is going to be the offer, such an offer is going to be accepted, and such an accepted offer is going to become the promise. And in return, keeping in mind that all the essentials are present, this promise is going to be converted into the contract. Now, when we talk about the offer, so this offer should satisfy all the requisites of valid offer. And when we say offer, so there can be an offer, there can be invitation to offer. So when we talk about invitation to offer, so it means we are not making an offer, we are inviting the other party to make an offer. If offer is being made, it is accepted and it is directly going to give rise to a contract. But if there is an invitation to offer, so invitation to offer should be followed by an offer, then this offer should be accepted, and then it will give rise to a contract. So it means that if there is an invitation to offer and that invitation is being accepted, so it will give rise to the offer, it will not give rise to the acceptance. So this difference we have to understand. You just can take notes of this particular slide. When we say an offer to be is different from invitation to offer, so it means that whenever the offer is being made, it is to be accepted. But whenever an invitation is to be made, so that invitation should be followed by the offer. For example, there are the goods which are being displayed with the price tag, right? Then there can be an advertisement for the sale of goods, or there can be the invitation for providing tenders or quotations, or there can be auction. In all these situations, this is an invitation to offer. When the goods are displayed in a particular, say, shop or showroom, so you have selected a particular item, and the other person says, sorry, ma'am, it is not for sale, or it is defected, so I cannot sell you, or it is already sold. So it means when the goods are being displayed with their price tags, so in that case, it is being the buyer is being invited to select the item and to make an offer. So you cannot sue the other person on the basis of that you have displayed this particular good and I have selected this item and you are bound to sell this particular product. No, there is the invitation, and when you select a particular product, you are making an offer. That offer is with respect to your willingness to buy the particular product, and the other person have the right to accept the particular offer or not. And once he accepts the particular offer, then it is going to turn into the contract. The other person is bound to deliver you the product and you are bound to pay the price accordingly. But this, just by accepting the invitation, this will not give rise to a contract. Is this difference clear to all of you?
Ma'am, but it is not legally bound, so will we call it a contract?
In case once the of invitation is accepted, it's not contract. It is, there is no legal obligation, right? But
Even after it is offered and it is accepted
yes,
that,
then
yeah,
then
I'll
then it
buy.
is a, then it is a contract. There is a legal obligation. यहाँ पर आपको
मैम
मतलब
व्हाट लीगल ऑब्लिगेशन इज देयर मैम, लाइक उसने कहा
legal
कि मैंने ये
obligation.
बाय करना है.
Yes, for example, you have selected, you say, let's take an example, another example.
मैम ये तो आई थिंक पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल के लिए हो गया ना कि यहाँ
Yeah.
पे कुछ
N-
लीगैलिटी नहीं है अभी
no,
शायद.
no, no, it's in all the cases. बच्चा सब्जेक्ट मैटर जो है वो पार्टीज ने डिसाइड करना है. ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ए went to a particular, say, showroom for, there are the car showroom, say, automobile showroom. So he wants to buy a car, right? And the one particular car is being in the display, right? And A liked somehow that particular piece in display. So A says that I want to buy this particular car. The dealer says that, sorry, sir, this particular car, the particular piece is only for the display. You have to book the particular car and model. You have to go follow the particular process, and you will get the car in next 10 days whenever it will be delivered from the unit house, right? So in this case, A cannot compel that because the car is in display and he has selected the particular car, so the dealer is bound to sell the car. It cannot happen. Reason is that once the particular car is being in display, it is to show, it is the buyers are being invited that this is the new model of the car is being launched by a particular company. So you are invited to offer. This is an invitation to offer. So if you like the particular model, you are going to make an offer that yes, I am going to buy this car. And if the particular car is available, then the acceptance will be given by the dealer. And then the party is bound to, dealer is bound to deliver the car, and you are bound to pay the price, the consideration which has been agreed upon, right? So the subject matter, कि it is to do something or not to do something, it will be decided by the parties. लेकिन उसकी performance or non performance would lead to the provisions of Indian contract,
मैम लाइक
right?
कैन वी से कि मैम जैसे उसने ऑफर किया एंड ही एक्सेप्टेड दैट ऑफर देन इट बिकेम अ प्रॉमिस एंड देन सम पेपर वर्क वेंट ऑन एंड उसके बाद हम उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कह रहे हैं.
नहीं बच्चे, आपकी ऑफर और एक्सेप्टेंस की हमने जब बात की थी, तो हमने टाइप्स ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में डिस्कस किया था कि ओरल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी आपका उतना ही वैलिड है जितना आपका रिटन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है. सो इफ यू हैव इवन गिवन द वर्बल कमिटमेंट, so in that case you have given some advance money, so that verbal commitment will give rise to a valid contract. हमने वैलिड
ओके मैम.
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स के अंदर डिस्कस किया था कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चाहे आपका ओरल हो,
हाँ जी मैम.
रिटन हो, तो वो वैलिड होगा. तो इवन सपोज इट्स अ पर्टिकुलर डीलर इज डीलिंग विद द सेकंड हैंड कार्स, right? So you went there, so you have the cars are in display, you have selected a particular car, and you have given, because you were just passing from there, and you saw that this particular car is really good, so you have paid 5,000 rupees as a token money, that you will come again and you will fulfill all the formalities. So once you have handed over this verbal commitment, or handing over that 5,000 cash is equally valid as in the other case. So that other person is bound to keep that car for you. और अगर वो कार किसी और को सेल कर देता है, then in that case he is required to compensate you for non-performance.
Yes मैम.
Right? So another examples we can discuss here. For example, there is an advertisement for the sale of the goods in the newspaper. Lot many items are being displayed with the prices, and it is being shown that on this particular occasion you're going to get this discount, or the first 100 customers will be given the lucky draw option. Certain items are there. So until you have seen the advertisement, so this advertisement is just an invitation, right? So in this case, you have to go to a particular shop or particular showroom from where this particular advertisement has come, and then you have to select the items, and then you have to ask for it. So there is possibility that once you been there, so that person says, and you ask for that, you have written that first 100 customers will get the lucky draw or will get this particular free gift. So they can always say that already 100 customers are over. So this advertisement is with respect to invitation, and just accepting the invitation does not give rise to the contract. So invitation का accept जब आप करोगे, तो then you have to make an offer, and once this particular offer is being accepted, then it will give rise to a contract. ठीक है? और contract means the promise with legal obligation, promise which comes under the provision of contract act, promise जिसको हमें perform करना है, और अगर हम नहीं perform करते, the other party has right to go to court of law for the performance or to get compensation for non-performance. तो इस particular situation में क्या होगा कि contract जो है वो वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होना चाहिए, उसमें सारे एसेंशियल्स होने चाहिए. तो जब हम ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस की बात कर रहे हैं, तो वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर हम सिर्फ ऑफर एंड एक्सेप्टेंस की वैलिडिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, बाकी सारे एसेंशियल्स इसके अंदर प्रेजेंट हैं, राइट? ठीक है. सिमिलरली इन्विटेशन
Yes
फॉर
मैम.
invitation for tenders and quotation, auction sales. Okay, for example, again आपका latest example आपकी cutoffs का है. So once a particular college announces a particular cutoff, so does it mean that you have that particular cutoff and you have you have secured admission? No.
No.
Once the
No.
particular cutoff is being announced, you have to apply. This is an invitation to offer. So you have to apply, and this particular application will be
Gets an approval.
verified, will be checked, or there are certain other requisites which needs to be fulfilled. Once everything is being done and the college accepts it, then you become the student, or the contract is being there. Just by displaying the cutoff or just by announcing the cutoff does not mean कि आपने अप्लाई कर दिया तो आप कहोगे कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो गया, लीगल प्रॉमिस हो गया, सो यू आर बाउंड टू गिव अस द एडमिशन बिकॉज आई हैव अप्लाइड, यू हैव अनाउंस द कट ऑफ. ऐसा नहीं होता ना. So the latest example is that you can understand the difference between invitation to offer and offer, right?
यस मैम. मैम
And
इस
in,
Yes,
केस में
ma'am.
तो थोड़ा हमारा रिटर्न भी हो गया मैम, जैसे
yeah,
वो शॉपकीपर वाला केस था, कार्स वाला. तो मैम
हाँ
अगर
जी.
उसमें हम कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में जाते हैं तो वहां हम मतलब व्हाट प्रूफ विल बी विद अस कि
ये
इसने
इसके
हमें
लिए
एक्सेप्ट
इसके
कर
लिए
ली थी
इस
ऑफर.
इसके लिए आपको एलएलबी करनी पड़ेगी. वहां पे एविडेंस एक्ट है, वहां पे बहुत सारे डिटेल्स हैं, माइन्यूट डिटेल्स, और डेप्थ इन डेप्थ स्टडी है दैट हाउ वी हैव टू प्रूव, हाउ वी हैव टू गो फॉर द एविडेंसेस एंड ऑल.
ओके मैम.
Right, so here we are just going to discuss that how the as per the business law paper, how the particular contract is to be performed or not to be performed. Right, creation of the contract, formation
यस
of the
मैम.
contract, and its performance. Right, in the auction sale we can take the example that once the particular auction has been announced, so you have to go there
For
to
bids.
attend for bid. And once the particular price comes or you make the bid, so you are making an offer, and the other person by the stroke of three hammer accept the particular bid or a particular deal. So again that is implied acceptance, example of implied acceptance. But जब auction announce हुई तो आप उस auction में जा रहे हैं, so it means you have accepted the invitation to that offer. So then you are making an offer, and then the other party is going to accept, then it is going to give rise to a contract. Right? So
यस मैम.
I will stop my lecture here because the time is getting over. And yeah, bache, I will share. And you can ask your doubts if any. Otherwise, we'll continue the topic